like we are live today. Oh my goodness, you guys don't even know that this has been a long time coming.
Yes, it has. Yes, it
Long
has.
time coming. Oh my goodness. And and literally this is the manifestation of a couple of things. It's the manifestation of just getting out there and doing what you're supposed to do no matter what. This is a manifestation of people seizing the moment when the moment presented itself. This is the manifestation of not allowing limitations, not allowing the idea
Yes.
maybe it won't work, maybe it can't work to get in the way. This is the manifestation of so many things. So today, this is our inaugural episode, season 1, episode of the setup, you guys. The setup. Smile, empower, thrive. This is season 1, episode 1 of the setup. And listen, today, you guys, what is the setup? The setup is going to be a show about so many things, about what it is that entrepreneurs go through, what it is that multi-passionates go through when we want to share our smile with the world, share the thing that makes us smile with the world. The when we want to help the world smile. Like it's, you guys know I'm all about the smile. So for those of you that don't even know me, I am Myra J. Stepter. I am the chief smile producer. And as the chief smile producer, I produce smile producers. What? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And I do that
Yes.
as a holistic mindset strategist. I do that as a spiritual life coach. So on this show, I I said a while back that I was supposed to showcase other entrepreneurs, other multi-passionates that have a story to tell. I've shared over the years about how I became a life coach, which I've always kind of coached people. I've always mentored people. Because I came from a corporate background where I was in sales management. I've done a number of things, and every job I've ever had in life, I've always ended up as a supervisor or a trainer or someone that helps someone else. In ministry, I was a person that was always mentoring and helping and counseling and teaching and all of that stuff. So my life has always about helping guide people toward their healing, help guide people toward reprogramming some of the junk, empowering people, right? And so one of the ways that I've always wanted to do it was by giving others a platform to share what's possible. What's possible, because many times we all get stuck in the mindset pitfalls, and we get stuck in ways that we say, well, maybe I can't do it, or I'm the only one going through this, or I'm the only person that has ever experienced this kind of hiccup, and because of that I'm not gonna get out there and live my life. And so I wanted to have a platform where those of us that are out here that have experienced the foolishness, that have gone through whatever the roadblocks were, and have said, you know what, I'm going to choose differently this time. I wanted a platform where we all could have those conversations so that other people could be empowered. And basically, empowerment, you guys, I say this all the time, is just permission, where you can have the permission to go for whatever it is that you're wanting to do. So, that is why this particular show, in all of its iterations, one day I said, you know what, you've been talking about bringing back your show. And I did kind of a thing on another platform called Head Wraps and High Vibrations. And we did a series about decluttering your life. And then I stopped, right? I stopped. And I was like, oh no, and it took me about a year to say, no, you're going to move forward. You're going to do this, right? And so when I brought it back out, I put a post out in a couple platforms, and I said, okay, you guys, this is what, bring this show back. That's it. And I put a post out saying, who wants to be a part? Who wants to be a part? And I had the old on there, the old name. It wasn't even a fancy post or anything, because normally me, I'm going to go get creative and make it pretty and do all. And that particular day I said, no, you're going to not make it pretty. You're going to just push it out there and see who responds, right? You're not going, and then I start thinking, well, maybe I want to have a day where on the first day, I want somebody that I know really well, and we're going to have a specific topic. And I said, no, you're making this too complicated. Put it out there. So I put it out there. And before I knew it, February and March were full. And I was like, oh, wait, okay. And it was like, it literally was like within maybe 3 hours. And then people started signing up for July. And I was like, wait, hold up. Now we got to fill up these other months first. So I had to go back in to the scheduling platform and shorten up the time frame that you could, set up. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm the person that says, if you build it, they will come. I didn't know, like, wait a minute. And so that was exciting. So I said, okay, now we have to put a little cutoff here because you don't want to really fill up the year just yet. You got to get the flow going, see how you're going to shape things and move things. But I was so excited by just the sheer readiness of people that right now understand that they have a story and they want to get the word out. So fast forward to Eboney Thompson.
Hey, everybody.
Eboney was the person that clicked on the first. She was like, I am so ready. She clicked on
yes.
available date and was like, let me jump on there. And I was like, I don't even know who this Eboney Thompson is, but I'll enough, right? And so imagine my excitement when I get Eboney's bio, and Eboney is a transformation mindset coach. And I was like, oh, okay, this is good. And then imagine my excitement when Eboney's like, I'm launching my new coaching business on February 6th. I was like, oh, so we're doing double launches today?
Yes.
We're doing exponential mindset transformation today. Like, oh my goodness, And then also the fact that I've had a long-standing desire to put out a summit of mindset coaches. And so then this was also a situation where I'm looking at this person, I put it out there, and a person that is a mindset coach says, yay, I'm going to get on a platform with another mindset coach, and it's going to be great. So
yes.
Me. That is exciting to me. So listen, thank you guys for enduring that beginning part of what we're talking about here and why we're so excited about this particular episode. Understand that we're on the YouTube platform, and if you're catching this on any of the other social media platforms, make sure to go back to the YouTube platform and like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Why? Because we need to know that you're loving what we're doing, that you're excited about the opportunity to hear these stories, but also need you to share because someone else in your sphere of influence probably needs to know that there is the ability to keep going. There is the ability to move forward. There is the ability to listen to these messages and receive permission, quote, slash empowerment to go for whatever it is that they're dreaming of, right? Also, subscribe because we're doing this every Thursday. So you kind of to know when we're going live. I mean, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. I get all that. But wouldn't you like to get the notification? Yeah, sure you would. Anyway, so let me tell you a little bit about our guest today because I am So Eboney is a passionate author, speaker, and transformation mindset coach. She has self-published, catch this, 11 of her own books, which have been sold across the country. Her most recent being her tell-all testimonial, The Hustle Journey. Her collection of materials also include poetry, inspirational devotionals, and self-help workbooks. Eboney's also CEO of Becoming to Develop Center. which is her transformation mindset coaching business. Her goal when working with women is to empower them to see, accept, and love and be the best them inside and out, while guiding them to shift their mindset to be more positive. And she leads by example. She also has a youth sector of Forever Beautiful called A Listening Ear, and also is the founder of The Healing Factor, a group program geared towards those battling breast cancer. Ebony's work has appeared in several online magazines and radio shows. When she's not working with clients, she's going out and speaking to others about living their best lives and overcoming obstacles. When the workday is done, you can find Ebony enjoying her life with her 4 children and dogs Zoe and Tony in sunny Southern California, reading, doing ministry, or just loving life. Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Look. You know what? I'm going to need to have some sound effects out here. Come on. I am so excited to have you.
I am
part of this. I'm so excited. Now, let me tell you something. This so segues into our affirmation of the day. Every week, we're going to have an affirmation that we're going to put out there. And it's so great because listening to and reading your bio, I've read your bio a couple times and I'm just like, oh my God, this is great, right? Like, and it's funny because whenever someone's reading my bio, I'm always like, wow, who's that person? Like, who?
Yeah, I was like, is that really me? Look,
yeah, that's really your bio. So today's empowering affirmation, I am infinitely abundant. I come from abundance. I operate in abundance. I'm moving toward abundance.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Like, oh my goodness. Beautiful. I am infinitely abundant. I come.
Yes, I love that.
I operate in abundance. I am moving toward abundance. Listen, that means that where you come from, where you are, where you're going, is all about abundance. It's all about not just the exclusivity of financial abundance, but the inclusive nature of everything about you, around you, in front of you, behind you, on the side of you, encompasses abundance to the max. And if we walk,
yes,
we see that, if we decide to live in that, then oh my goodness, what else could happen for us? Ebony, what does that affirmation, what does it say to you? What do you, because you were having a reaction, I'm like, let me let you talk about it.
That to me makes me want to live. You know, it makes me, you know, have you ever been someplace and it just live, it's like it sparks you, it ignites some triggers in you, and it's just like, woo, like go. And that affirmation alone, that makes me want to live even more. Because it's just like, in abundance, it's like you said, it's not all about the riches, glam, and all that kind of stuff. It just knows that every step you take is in abundance. Yeah. And it's surrounding you. It's not like, oh, I have to walk a thin line. That means no matter if I go right, left, side to side, backward or forward, turn around in a 360, abundance is around me and I can partake in it. And it is there for, it's like fresh air. So, wait, look, you're gonna have to like text that to me, or to put it up on my affirmation wall, because I don't have that one.
Yes. And you know what? It's funny. That's in my journal. I have an affirmations journal, and that's in the journal. I was like, you know what? You got to use all the tools. You got to use all the tools. And
all the tools.
That's one of the affirmations that I have. And this is funny. So this is the book. It's the Mirror Affirmations Journal. I don't know if you can see it there. And I'll have to put the link to everybody that's saying they need a copy of this too. But literally in the journal, it's 31 affirmations. And people, you know, whenever I talk to people about it, I'm like, I use this. Like this wasn't just me sitting back going, oh, I'm just gonna throw some affirmations in there. No, I use these affirmations. I speak these to myself because Even a person that deals in mindset, I have to fill myself up because I can't
Yes.
pour out what's not in me. So
Yes.
yeah, so that's why, I even said we have to start off the show with affirmations every week because
Yes.
we got to pour in, because we have to understand what we're trying to put out there has to already be.
Exactly.
So let me get off of my little box here because I need to hear from you. I need to hear from you because reading your bio, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, anybody that is this focused on transforming lives, you're working with youth, you're helping people that are dealing with breast cancer, you want to live a more positive life and have a positive outlook. You are a mom, so you understand that moms love to pour out and never receive. Like there are so many layers to with a person that has so much going on. How is it that you bring this out to the world? So we need to know what is Ebony's story? What brought you to this very moment, launching this very business, doing all of the other things that you do?
Um, well, I guess for me, so I went through my own transformation.
Mm-hmm.
I've had several businesses I started. I always call them my side hustles. I am a big hustler. That is, it's crazy because one of my favorite movies is crazy, crazy, crazy. It's Scarface. And Scarface, I love, not that he sold drugs, but I loved his work ethic.
Uh-huh.
I loved his work ethic. And I always had that hustle mentality, even from a young, like 5 years old. Like I was, even at 5, I was creating businesses in my room, and telling my daddy, hey, daddy, let's do this. And he's like, okay, like
Like,
since 5, I was like, I should have known then that I was going to be some form of a business owner. But
yeah.
I've always had that side hustle. But we all go through things in life. I've been through some things that has really shook me and shattered me. But it happened to other people, and it affected me. But it wasn't until on December 28th, 2018, I went into the hospital, shortness of breath. I thought it may have been an asthma, like an asthma attack. Now, mind you, I've never had asthma. I had a couple weeks prior to this particular date. I had went in and they told me I had adult onset asthma. I was like, at 36 years old, 37 years old? Okay, whatever. Well, I went in the hospital with shortness of breath, and lo and behold, found out that it was not adult set asthma. It was actually, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer that had metastasized to my lungs. So that's where the shortness of breath and everything was coming in. And to be in the emergency room and go from, they're thinking it's an asthma attack or RSV, or because it was cold outside, to getting a diagnosis such as this. I didn't have time for my mind to wonder, like, this. The first thing I told the doctor is, what do I need to do to be here for my children?
Right. Yeah.
That was it. That's all I cared about in the moment. I love all my clients. I love my businesses. But when it was all said and done, it was about being there for my kids. And then, I was in the hospital for 2.5 weeks. Just like really just trying to, like, they were trying to get my levels together. They was trying to, like, get me prepared. A lot of the doctors, to be perfectly honest, didn't think that I was going to leave the hospital alive.
Right.
They thought that they would be rolling me down. And then to look at the like my MRIs and all that kind of stuff, I can see why from a medical standpoint. But when he told me that, it was, here's where the faith and mindset comes in. It wasn't you trying. He's telling me I'm sorry, and I'm like, you don't. We don't have time to be sorry. I'm living. You know,
Right.
this is you said it's a death sentence. I say it's a process that I gotta live out. So going through that process, it was, from my losing my hair to losing abundance of weight to haven't been able to work like an actual job since December, because I never know, like, at times I'm actually on oxygen. If anybody follows me on any of my social media, you'll see me with the oxygen tube and in my face. I'm not ashamed of it. That's just part of my journey or whatever. But going through that transformation, I always said that what kept me going was that it didn't happen, the cancer didn't happen to me, it happened for me.
Yeah.
Because it brought out all of me that I've been hiding and everything that I've wanted to offer to the world, and that I know I was supposed to be offering to the world. So, and like, I'm double certified in life coaching. I'm certified, and then I have 2 life coaching certifications. The book sitting is great, but when you come with real life and offer relatable life to people, now when people, whether they're sitting across from me or we're doing a video like this or we're on the phone together, I can feel you.
Yes.
And you can feel me. Now we can change together.
Yes.
So in the process of being, for when this coming about, like, the brand that I was doing before was Hustle and Heels, and because I still love my heels, and but I audibly heard the voice of God, and God telling me it's time to hang that up, because that's not where I am anymore. And from there, it birthed Becoming You. And I was like, because I kept hashtagging becoming Ebony, becoming Ebony. And even then with that hashtag, I didn't really understand what it was. And then I looked back and I was like, because girl, you're becoming the person that you're supposed to be. You're becoming the woman that you're supposed to be. Now it's time, as you've become and still becoming, because I'm still growing. Now it's only right for me on purpose to help others. Now, granted, it may not be cancer that they're going through. It could be, I was a teen mom. I got pregnant at 17, had my son at 18, and we grew up together. It could be somebody who's dealing with grief. It could be somebody who's dealing with divorce. Whatever your transformation is to get back to the real you. We have to look at certain situations as not that, oh, all of this is happening to me. Sometimes even tragic, some things happen for us to remove us out of the way so that we can get a wake-up call to, like, one, you need to start living. And you're not living the life that you're supposed to be living. A lot of us is living on autopilot.
Right.
And we're going through days just like we're living on autopilot. So it's just like, I get up, I go to work, I get in my car, I drop the kids off, I go to work, I go to lunch, I get off from work, I go pick the kids up, homework, dinner, bath, bed.
Right. And
where's the enjoyment?
Living in that process.
Where is it?
Where's
they're
the
existing, and a lot of people are existing. They're existing and are not living on purpose. So I was like real hush about it. And I was like, but I took all the things that I knew and all the things that God downloaded to me, and it became Becoming You. And You is YOU, and it stands for Becoming Your Original Undisputed Self.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Because this is the thing that I try to explain to people. When we're talking about mindset, it's about perspectives, it's about unprogramming, because like you're saying, becoming your original undisputed self, the
Undisputed
is that unfortunately for many of us, we've gone through life and we've become part of the program. We're not becoming, we're becoming part of the program. And that starts on in life. And so we check all the marks. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what they told me to do. You know, and I tell folks, no matter what your spiritual affiliation is, whether it's a religious or a metaphysical affiliation, there's always this check this box because I'm doing this that I'm supposed to do according to what I'm taught. And it doesn't matter if it is a your job alignment. You know, your parents. I just had a conversation with people yesterday about how for most of us, our parents went through a you go to school, get your education, get a degree, get a job, work that job for 20 years, get a pension, live happily ever after. And many of those parents are now working jobs at 60 and 70 and 80 years old because that life shifted on them and there was no opportunity to unprogram, you know, because yeah, you can teach old dog new tricks, but some people are so stuck in the programming that it makes it so very difficult. So then you get in their late 30s and 40s and 50s in our realm of folks that are like, okay, I think I want to be outside of the programming and I don't have to do it the exact way that I was taught, but it's so hard to unprogram. And so even while we're saying we don't want to stick with that program, we're still teaching our children the program and they're rebelling and we're like, hey, don't rebel against me, you know, and somewhere along the line now we're having to go to coaches like a mindset coach, a transformation coach. We're having to go to all these different coaches now to unlearn the programming so that we can not teach the future generations this programming or not keep butting heads with them. Because truth be told, many of them are showing up outside of the program. Many of them are like, oh, I want to be me.
I have 4 of those thinking. And the thing is, like, I lead by example. I'm a big person with lead by example. I don't necessarily believe in the fact of do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
You know, and I learned that wholeheartedly just from raising my children. And all my kids are free thinkers. I have kids that range from 7 years old to almost 20.
Okay.
And so I've raised them to be free thinkers. You know, like now granted, you have your solidified foundation.
Right.
Now I've given them foundation, but don't go with what may seem as the norm. You know, it says, like you said, go to school, get good grades, graduate, go to college, do this, do that. And people are like, you shouldn't tell your kids not to go to college. I was like, I didn't say not to go to college. I told them college might not be for them right now. Don't go getting yourself in 60, 80, 90, even hundreds of $20,000 worth of debt and then not even use that degree. So like I got backlash. It's crazy. I got backlash because for Christmas, I bought my kids LLCs. I bought my kids LLCs because people was like, oh, kids should be kids. Guess what? I'm raising little entrepreneurs because one, they see me. But like I tell people, even if they don't want to use it right now, they can use it in the future. But I want them to always know that they have options. They don't have to go with the mainstream, but that's the way I teach them. Now, if you do have people, you know, that go to college, that's the only way to go. And you got to go to this college, and this is what you got to major in. This is what you got to do. That alone is stressful.
Right. Do you remember? Do you remember when you were in high school and they had the trends that they would put out to like the counselors and everything, and these were the jobs that were going to make money over the next 10 to 20 years, and so that's how you went to go choose your major, and it wasn't because I just want to be. Yeah, it's like right. It's like you have to be a doctor. Yeah, you have to be a doctor. You have to be a lawyer, and you could only go to these colleges if you wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer. I remember wanting to be a psychologist, which is funny that I'm dealing in mindset now, but we won't even deal with that right now. But I wanted to be a psychologist. But then when I started as a psychology major, they were like, well, really it's political science and business. So I went off and said, okay, well, I guess I'll have to be a business major then, because I took the poli sci class and was like, I'm not even interested in that. And so I was talking to my dad actually the other day about that. I said, we now have a responsibility to not break our children, to tell them, hey, guess what? You have an opportunity to go do whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to be a welder, then baby, go weld the heck out. Go learn how to do it and go do it. If you want to be in business, then let's get you all the help to be in business and to do it the right way. If you want to go to college and have a career and be an employee, guess what? There is absolutely nothing wrong with that, because some of the biggest people that we're all, oh, they're multimillionaires, they're employees of someone. Everybody out there,
and the thing is, they started out as employees.
Right.
Like for me, like even with my kids, like I want them to get jobs. I want them to get jobs, but I want them to get jobs for the simple fact of the responsibility of knowing to get a job. And if you plan on owning your business, how to treat your employees, the people that's going to work for you.
Yes.
So that like, what it's like to be late and then somebody yell at you like cash crazy or something like that. Like I want them to be able to know how to treat people, and in the order way, sometimes the only way you know how to treat someone is to put yourself in their shoes.
Right.
So, but other than that, like we have to. I think our generation is more of we're breaking on the open-minded side of it. Mm-hmm. It's okay. I can quit corporate and start my own business, and be okay with it. And a lot of the older generation, they don't understand that. But what, just coming from, I do have a background in finance, where if you look at it, there isn't going to be any social security for us or our children. Right. And these pensions are outdated now. Unless you're grandfathered in, it's not even going to make any sense. Right. So, and that's just from an employee mindset. Mm-hmm. Like I tell everybody's not meant to run a business. You have to have a business mindset. Some people, it's okay to be an employee. Fine with being an employee. Right. But know what your worth as that employee. Know what your worth as that employee. Mindset goes beyond, people like, oh, get your mind right, and then we're going to take you to the next level of business. Sometimes the transformation mindset is just you becoming a better version of yourself. Right. Stop dealing with all of that mess that you put yourself in or that you've gotten yourself in. Because a lot of us, what we don't realize, we're a role model and an example to somebody. Yes. Whether we know it or not. You never know, especially in the world of social media. Mm-hmm. You don't know your influence at all.
You have no idea. And that's a thing that I've tried to impart on people a lot, is the fact that I could, for years, I used to get stuck in that, oh, it was only 1 or 2 likes. Oh, it was only 1 or 2 this. Oh, nobody was on. I don't want to get on and just have to talk to myself. And, when it came to even going live. And then I started realizing that my first foray into going live was back in, I think it was 2012, when it was Google Hangouts on air that would show on YouTube, right? Yeah. I had a channel way back then, but I didn't pounce and do. And there are people right now that went through the same trainings that I went through, learned all the things that I did. And I've watched their trajectory, right? And I was sitting back going, and someone said something on a post on Facebook, and I commented, and then someone else came back and was like that, and they replied to me, and someone was like, "Wait, you know Myra?" And they were like, "Yeah, I've known Myra about 6 years." And they're like, "Well, how do you know Myra?" Because they live like on the East Coast, right? We're nowhere in close proximity to each other. And they were like, "Yeah, I've known Myra for 6 years." And so then there's this thread underneath my comment about how long each of them have known me, and Myra did. And so then I was laughing, and then still kind of looking in the mirror at myself, like, uh-huh. And I've said this for years. I'm like, you've got to get your own act right together, because there are people that know you, that know about you, that are on a different level. And while you may look and say, oh, well, that person is, XYZ, blah, 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 they're looking at you the same way. And they're saying, yeah, she should be up here on platforms with me, or they should be doing this thing with me. And so it was funny to have these two kind of powerhouse people trying to fuss about, no, this is my Myra, and share me, please. And it was
right.
right, and it was so funny. So then it turned into me inboxing each of them separately, like, hey, we need to catch up. And they're like, yeah, we do. And, but it was just a funny thing. And I say often that there are no coincidences in how all of this aligns and how God brings it together. I tell all divine orchestration, everything is going to happen at its appointed time. And sometimes the appointed time means now's the time that you're ready. Now's the time that you're ready to be the best you, or to at least be on that path to being you. And so when I read your bio, and I've snuck in a few times and caught some of your lives and been like, oh, I need to go back and comment, because it'll be like, I'll have and I'll be like, oh, okay, Ebony's on, and I'll put it on and sit the phone down, and I'll be doing something else. And I'm like, oh, see, there you go again, because I'm trying to be more mindful about responding and talking to people, because I know what it's like when you feel like you're talking to a vacuum in an open room. But then I also know like when you're out in public. And I used to put, and I have to go back to doing, I used to put on all of my stuff for years, TING, ting, just that the sound of a smile. And it became a conversation piece for a long time, because people were like, what does that ting mean? And I was like, when you watch like the Colgate commercials and the person smiles, and shines a little light on their tooth, and it's like ting, and they're like, oh my God. So the craziest thing, I would go places, I would be in other cities, and folks would be like, ting, and I'd be like, serious, real, like in the right, in the weirdest places. And then, one of the most interesting conversations was when someone that I knew I was not a Facebook friend at the time. Was my Facebook friend, and it was the most random thing, because we didn't even interact on Facebook, but I knew she wasn't my Facebook friend. And she came to me in person one time and was having a conversation with me about a Facebook post. And back then, my page wasn't public like it is now, right? So
wow.
And I'm like, I put that on Facebook, and she's like, yeah, because you were, and I mean, like, it wasn't like checking me. It was like an enthusiastic conversation about, oh my God, this was a great, topic of conversation that we had based off of when you said da da da. And I'm like, when did I say that? She's like, oh, on Facebook. Huh? What do you mean?
Right.
Right. On Facebook. And so she's like, no, because my husband was like, you have to read this post that Myra put out. And I said, so, huh? And so then she was like, so I started following you. And that was like the beginning of when Facebook put that follower ability out there. And she's like, following you because we weren't Facebook friends, and I didn't want to seem like a stalker, so I didn't send you a friend request. And I'm like, you could send me a friend request. I actually know you in real life, it's fine. And so
right.
she sent the friend request, and then And whenever I would see her in public, oh, that time when you wrote da 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 da, and I'm like, why are you not having these conversations on the Facebook post? Well, I didn't want to seem, and I'm like, no, 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 engage me
Right, right,
on the post so then we can have this dialogue. I said, because just like you have this question and you have to wait until whenever the next time you see me is, and then you have to hope that the conversation will come back to your mind. I said, there are other people that are just as nervous and as scared. And they're like, I don't want to seem like the crazy lady on the post asking these questions. I said, or inbox me. I said, and I can put it out there like, okay, anonymous question, blah, 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 whatever. But,
right, right.
there are always people watching us. There are always people looking, and they may never come to you in person. They may never post on your post. But just like when Facebook started showing us like how many people viewed a video, and you can be like, there was only one person that I saw on the video.
Mhm.
Facebook says it's gotten watched 120 times. Say what?
120 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
What keeps me, I think, is there's I don't know if it's like a quote or whatever, and it's just like you never know who's discussing you in a room.
Yes.
But I take it a step further, and you don't know who's discussing you in a room. What are they saying? What are they saying about you? And what is your lasting impression?
Yeah.
Like basically the person and the thing is, it bothers me, and it's a pet peeve to meet someone, like talk to them on Facebook, or you get this persona on Facebook, and then when you see them in person, they're totally negative and they're totally nasty.
Yes.
The person you get on Facebook with Ebony is the person that you get, and that's the person you're gonna get in person. If
Yes.
not, I'm probably sillier, I'm probably goofier, or anything like that. I think with the generation that is coming up behind us, and even to inspire what the people our generation, even older people, I've even had older people like, I watch your transformation, and you're inspiring to me. And what I look at it as, just be your authentic self.
Yes.
Stop trying to be somebody. Stop trying to be somebody you're not. And that goes back to becoming you. A lot of people, they don't know who they are.
Oh.
They've lost themselves in the sauce of life, and it's like, who am I? I had a time where I looked myself eye to eye in the mirror, and I didn't understand. I didn't know the reflection that was looking back at me.
Yeah.
And that is scary. That is a
It's
scary place. But how many people walk past the mirror every day?
Mm-hmm.
They make sure their hair is straight, make sure their wig is on good,
Right.
make sure that makeup is hitting right, make sure
They don't look.
that lineup is right,
Mm-hmm.
lips is right. But they will never look themselves in the eye, because they don't know. Because when you start looking at yourself, you start seeing that hurt. You start seeing that forgiveness, but really ain't forgiveness. It's unforgiveness. You start seeing that all that stuff you was sliding up under the rug, and it went from being a small hump to now it's a big old mountain.
Yeah.
That you need to clean out.
Yeah.
And you wondering why you're going around that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll never know until you look at yourself. And so, but it takes a strong mindset.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like for mindset coaches such as us, they need that. They need that accountability.
Mm-hmm.
They need that, not so much as hand holding, but that cheering factor.
Yeah.
That you can do it. You will do it. Because in the world that we live in, unless you're trying to be beautiful on the outside, unless you're trying to rock the latest, and you're trying to be in the in crowd, and you're trying to offer somebody else something, nobody's really cheering for you. Like your real corner is probably about this big.
Right.
When a lot of people's cheering against you, or they're just not paying you any attention because, well, and whatever you're doing is not affecting me.
Right.
When everybody's life have a domino effect. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
look at Kobe Bryant, and you know, God rest his soul, and
Yeah.
everybody that's on there, and everybody's like, well, you know, a lot of people talk about him on the basketball court. For me, it was the life that he lived off the court.
Right.
Who is he as a father? Who is he as a husband? Who is he as a philanthropist?
Right.
You know, that spoke more to me than the records that he set, how many shots that he made, you know, how many games he played, you know, his injuries or anything like that. It was his life off the court. And you have people who have never known him, have never been in his presence. I'm one of them, and I was crying like a baby. Like
Right.
my mom called me, and I was like, I gotta call you back.
Like,
I
right.
need a moment
Right.
because I'm over here crying like this is my cousin, my brother.
Right.
But this is a man I've never, you know what I'm saying? Now, granted, now we live in the same, you know, we live in the same space because he lives in California, I live in California.
Right.
But I've never met him, but yet I was affected.
Right.
It goes the same for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be somebody that never meet me, but may see a live, you know, that I've done or hear about my story. You know, it's what lasting relationships, what lasting marks are we making in the world?
Exactly. Well, and you know,
And so
when the news came out almost 2 weeks ago now, like it's so crazy it's been that long. When the news came out, so many people they shared a number of stories. They shared a number of things that they remembered with him. And the funny thing was, and I was talking about this with a number of folks, the funny thing was that while some people shared, yeah, you know, he was the greatest basketball player, the majority of people, whether they were in sports, sportscasters, or just general people, even other celebrities, the stories that they were sharing were actually, this is what I got from his life.
Yep.
That made him up, the philanthropy, the being a dad, the loving his wife, the loving his friends, his need to push forward legacy for his children. It wasn't about sport.
He was a real person. He was a real person.
Right.
He was a real person.
And one guy was talking about, you know, one thing that he learned, and he said it was so funny because he's seen it in other arenas, but he didn't really grasp it until he watched this happen with Kobe Bryant. And he said, you know, setting your children up with things in things that they love. So while his oldest daughter was a volleyball player, he didn't force her to play basketball. He created the basketball academy. I mean, the volleyball academy that she's a part of. There's a whole Mamba volleyball, right? And and here Gianna was into basketball, so now you got Mamba Basketball Academy. And he was like, you know, from that, he was sitting back going, what is it that his kids love that he could set up something that allowed them to be in it's like he said, almost like when other entrepreneurs talk about, if your kids love Nike shoes, buy them Nike stock. He said literally this man invested in sporting academies or things that his children love to do. He created legacy within that. And I was like, yeah. I said, you know, that's one of those things where while someone may never listen to a Zig Ziglar or a Bob Proctor or even you know, any of these other, you know, other people that talk about excuse me, Robert Kiyosaki's and all that, they may never listen to those people, but they will follow a legacy of Kobe Bryant. If someone, you know,
right.
So that's the thing also when I look at what we do, some people may never listen to any of the guests that Oprah has had on her shows that talk about mindset.
Right.
Some people may never, when they go to their business coaches or they go to the people that are talking to them about living their dreams, they may never
Mhm.
grasp the full understanding about how their mindset really does affect that thing until they hear
Right.
Thompson talk about going through her cancer journey, being a mom, and saying, you know what, this is the smile that I bring to the world. This is how
Right.
in my smile to the world, but this is how I'm making the world smile because I understand the journey that these people have gone through. I understand that while they may not have a cancer journey, they've got something in their life that sparked a need for transformation. And so then I look at this is how you empower people to live well, right? This
Exactly.
you empower people to live well. And there was a journey that you had to go through that said, yeah, you've had, like you shared, you were the hustle queen, right? You were the hustle.
Oh yeah.
You know, you knew how to get out there and make it happen. But guess what? When cancer came knocking at your door and you thought you just had a good old fashioned respiratory infection, and the doctors were like, actually, that has nothing to do with the hustle anymore. At that point, you
Mhm.
said it. I forgot the hustle. I said, forget the hustle. Let me deal with my kids. Let me deal with what's going to happen with their lives if I'm no longer here. Right. Because when someone says stage 4 cancer, like it's almost like, Lion King,
I
Mufasa.
didn't even know, and the thing about it is, I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know there was different stages or
Yeah.
anything like that. And you have to watch those that are around you. Because I was telling people, and I had people like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Well, what are you gonna do? Have you made arrangements?" And I'm like, "Well, what kind of arrangements? What are you talking about?" I was
Right.
like, "Oh, see, now you didn't already try to put me in the ground, and honey, I'm up here like."
You're like, no.
No, that's not even the case. Like that's not even on my radar. So
Yeah.
why is it on your radar? So I've had to change I've had to change associations or
Yeah.
whatever, my associations, which because I have to protect my mind. And
Right.
even as a mindset coach, like you said, you have to feel yourself daily. I have to feel myself
Yes.
because even though I call it my situation, because we get through situations. Situations
Yes.
don't last always.
Yes.
So I call it my situation. Even though my situation isn't quite over yet.
Mm-hmm.
I have my days. Mentally, that does what doctors say. And if you read, you know what I'm saying? It's I go on Facebook or Instagram or just on my phone, period, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, such as passed away today.
Right.
And it just so happened they passed away of the C word. And I'm like,
Right. Right.
I don't want to see this. And so for a long time, I stayed off in the beginning, especially in the beginning, I stayed off social media, period, because I didn't want to see that. I was already dealing. So I had to retrain my mind that even though you may see that, that's not you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not you. That's not who you are. You're still living.
You're
You
still
still
in.
have breath in your body.
Yeah.
So you have to keep that going. So every day is a new day. Every day I have to feed myself. And like even like the clients that I've already been working with, this is just the launch of the business.
Right.
I've been working with people. I've probably been working with people probably about the last 7 or 8 years, really.
Yeah.
I tell them it's not an overnight process. You're not gonna wake up one morning. It's not like when you bleach your hair. Like
Right.
your hair is dyed and you put some blonde on it, you put some bleach on it, and you rinse it out, and then the next minute
It's blonde.
you
No.
platinum blonde. No, it's a
Right.
process. It's a process. It's a day to day, and you have to continue to do it. But once you start training your mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's the world opens up so big and so beautiful. And it's like when your mind is open, you start seeing that you can really do anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
There's no limitation. You put limitations on yourself. I have people who like, oh, I've never traveled before. I've never been outside my state. And I'm like, how? Here I am, me and my
Yeah.
kids are planning trips overseas. And you're talking
Mhm.
about you've never left your state borders? What is going on? But a lot of that's fear. Now you have to ask yourself, why are you
Right. Why are you
like I
fearful?
have no like I don't care. I was
And I tell people, you can still thrive in fear. You can still thrive in
yeah. And
because fear, I'm always like, listen, sometimes you take fear and you say, fear, look, you're gonna have to take this journey with me. I'm gonna need you to get in the trunk though. I don't need you to be sitting in the passenger seat. You definitely can't drive. And I don't really
no,
backseat driving because every time I make a move, you're gonna be like, wait a minute. So fear, I need you to get in the trunk. Because I know that no matter what, I would much rather have you in the trunk than jumping out in the middle of the road on me. So
exactly.
you get in the trunk, you can come on, get in the trunk. And I used to tell clients all the time, I'm like, listen, yes, the thing that you're about to do, let's acknowledge it. Let's not be
It's scary.
people that say, oh no, it's not supposed to be scary. And folks love to quote, God has not given you the spirit of fear, he's given you power, love, and a sound mind. I said, no, understand. That did not say fear does not exist. It says that
That God didn't give it.
fear is a spirit. So this is something that you have to deal with on a realm that's not, oh, I'm looking fear in the face. No, you're not. You're feeling fear all up in here. And so you have some tools to combat that fear, but understand it is a battle. So if you're going to be in a battle, are you just going to stay there all day and be like, well, I'm just going to fight this all day, every day? Or are you going to say, listen, how exactly am I supposed to fight fear? Power, love, sound mind. Okay, so how am I going to use my
And that's
power today?
sound mind.
How am I going to
And the
love
thing is,
myself enough to move forward?
yep,
How am I going to think
exactly.
critically and think clearly so that fear is not the thing that's clouding my brain? I'm like, that's how you use that scripture if that's what you're going to say that you're ready.
Exactly. That's because it says God didn't give you a spirit of fear.
Right. It didn't
That
say
means
that it's not out there.
He did not give that to you. So that thing that you're feeling is not from God. And like even for me, moving in fear, like I said, I live in California now. I live on the valley side of LA. And I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow.
From Louisville, Kentucky. Spent the majority of my life there. Had all my kids there, like everything. My family, my whole entire family pretty much lives in Kentucky.
Wow.
In Louisville, Kentucky. It was something in me I was not fulfilled. And I knew it. I had been praying about it. I had been fasting about it. And I knew it was more to what I was doing. You know, my life was in autopilot. Even though I had my side hustles, I was still doing stuff. My life was in autopilot. And I knew that it was more to life.
Yeah.
And so I actually came out here for an R&R break. 3 days, booked a flight, had never been to California in my life. And I was like, well, I'm just going to book a flight. Booked a flight out here. And when I landed, it felt like home. I wasn't even off the plane. And I was like, oh, this is new. Because even at home, home didn't feel like home.
Mm-hmm.
So being there, I started, that was the starting process of soul searching. And so I had sat on the beach. I hadn't been to the beach in like forever. And this was like in the middle of November. It was 70-something degrees. And I was sitting out on the beach and I was like, okay. And I, did some things. And I took the leap of faith of leaving. When I say everybody, my mom lives in Kentucky, my grandmother, my cousin, my sister, like my whole entire family.
Everything.
Everything. And I packed up. Me and my kids got on a Greyhound.
Wow.
With 2 suitcases apiece.
Wow.
A blanket, a backpack, and traveled from Kentucky to LA in 3 days.
Wow.
Was I scared? Yes, I was, because I was like, God, I got these kids depending on me. Like, I'm starting a new life. I had an apartment. I had got an apartment. Crazy thing is, I didn't even know what neighborhood the apartment was in. I didn't know what neighborhood the apartment is. All I could say was, God, just let it be safe.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know what I had a job. I had set up a job. And what was crazy is when I got here, I got an email stating that the job was no longer available right now, that they will come back to me in 2 months.
Oh
And
my
it was
goodness.
like, okay, do I get back on the bus or do I keep going forward? And I
Right.
decided to go forward. Was I fearful? Yes, I was. But how God worked that thing out is because apartment that I ended up being in was in one of the best neighborhoods where I'm at, where I live. Job that I did end up getting was literally like right down the street from my house.
Wow.
And you know, in LA, that's not very
Right. That's not a thing.
that's not very common. But even in the spirit of fear, because I'll never forget being like right before I left, being in my shower crying, God, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. This is just me. And then granted, like my best friend, she came with me, but like I'm the strong one. And you know, she's strong too, but I'm a little,
Yeah.
it's just I have 4 kids,
Right.
and it's like I'm telling you, like right now, I'm scared. I'm scared out of my mind. I don't want this time. I'm okay with traveling by myself,
But
this
not with
would
my
be
baby.
big shit, but
So,
not with my baby.
so let me ask you
And
this.
I'm
What was the thing that flipped the switch and kicked you into gear?
I saw. Okay, so after I had came back from my mini vacation, I was like, okay, God, if this is what I'm supposed to do, this is kind of where I'm being. Because I was thinking about moving anyway. I had lived in Atlanta for a while, and it was cool. I liked it, but I didn't really think that was really for me anymore. So I was looking at like North Carolina. I was looking at Texas. I knew I needed to relocate. I knew that was it. And so I was like, let me see what it's like to take the kids. So I was able to bring the kids out here. We were here for 3 weeks. So we spent 2 weeks here in LA, and then we spent a week in San Diego. And to see, I started seeing signs from my kids that I had never seen before. Like they thrive, and they were like living, and like my son, he was like jumping in the ocean, and like I'm used to him sitting on the couch playing video games, and like girls had a smile and a glow, and my kids had like a smile and glow, and I was like, I want to see this all the time,
Yeah.
not just on vacation, but all the time. And I went back home. I thought about it, and I was blessed that I could come back out here. I came back out here for like 4 or 5 days, like by myself, and I like sat in my hotel room a lot, and I like visited around, and that clicked. And when I got back home, I started seeing them faces again. I started seeing them in pictures, and I was like, this move is more than me. That's why the unction is so hard. Like, you gotta go, you gotta get up, you gotta move. And it was more than a move, a strategic move. I know that move. Not only did it change my kids, because you see them now, like my son, he's in super graphic, like he's about to launch his t-shirt brand. And it is amazing. Like it, and I'm not just saying that because I'm his mom, but it has like some business that is gonna knock people's socks off. Because he's mixing technology.
Okay.
I had my oldest daughter, she's captain of her step. She's launching out her business. I've seen her become more of a leader. You know, my son becomes more of a leader. My 11-year-old has written a movie. We're in the process
Okay.
of she's in the process like this summer. She's holding audition. She's going forward with shooting the movie. You know, like, and then my 7-year-old, she always she walks around on her toy cell phone, you know, talking about mommy, I'm doing business. You know what I'm saying? She's all, but
Yes.
then just seeing them thrive, and then just to see how much of a blessing during my transformation, my process, they have been to me. You know, besides God, you know, like I have to give my hats off to my kids because they've seen me in my lowest moments. And as parents, we try to hide, you know, moments from our kids. And in my lowest moment, I actually found strength in my kids. You know, they showed me faith. You know, no, mama, stood up. You know,
Yeah.
you will live. Like I'm talking about, like they wrote a banner on the wall with affirmations. And you know, tell me that I was beautiful. They was coming and laying hands and praying for me, and I'm just like, I think it's like reading the bio, and I was like,
right. You're like, what? Right.
what was that? Yeah. But they have become people that they are productive in society even now. You know, and I look at that move as it not only it saved all of my life in more ways than one. And I think back now, if I would have stayed fearful and would have never moved, to be perfectly honest, I don't think that physically I would be having this conversation.
I believe that. I believe that because I've known a number of people with the big C, little C, little C, little C. A number of people with the little C. Yeah, ain't nothing big about it because we know things that are much bigger. So
exactly.
So you know, and I've watched journeys. I remember 15 years ago. No, it's been longer than that. It's been almost 20 years ago. I moved to Austin, Texas, and there was a lady there that immediately just adopted me. You're my god, baby. Okay. And at that point, in 2001, she had been doing the small C for about 10 years. It several surgeries, and you know you're not supposed to have no multiple surgeries because once you open, you know the everything that's been said. And 2002, it came back aggressive, was like threatening to take her out, and she was like, "I don't believe in that." Her regular surgeon that she had been rocking with for years was like, "We cannot do another surgery." And she was like, "But you said it has to come out of me."
Right.
Okay.
Right.
She said, "That's okay. You don't have to do it. I'll get somebody else." And she did. Did, and she was, you know, one of those people that would tell everybody what to do and all that. Found another surgeon. Her surgeon, when she was booked for surgery, was like, "I've got to be in the room." Oh, now you want to be in the room. And that was her. Oh, now right. You didn't want to do it. And he was like, "You're too important to me to just let somebody else go in and not know the history of what we've been doing and what's happening inside of your body." He goes, "I know your body." And
right.
There were complications, but when he came back to talk to me, he was like, "But she's still here." He said, "I had decided," and he was the funniest little man, the prayingest little man. They prayed before every surgery. When they were doing when the anesthesiologist was in there, they was quoting scripture. That's how she handled her journey, right? And she was like, I can't go anywhere. I got 2 dogs that need me at home. Who's gonna cook for my dogs? And yes, you did hear me right. Cook for her dogs. So while she was in the hospital, I'm cooking short ribs and chicken for some dogs.
Oh, I have 2 fur babies, so yeah,
See?
I
Right.
already know how to be.
And so she was a defiant type of person, right? So that I said this happened in 2002. She'd already been battling since for about 10 years at that point.
Mm-hmm.
20. And I'm not mentioning her in the past tense.
See, yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
mentioning her in the
yeah.
past tense. And not because of some super spiritual, she's always present. No, she is still giving people hell on this plane of existence. Okay?
Right,
Say that
right.
say that a lot of times people have got to see you walk out that journey. Meaning, like
Mm-hmm.
Thompson is walking out this journey because she decided, to live in her purpose. She decided to say, you know what, like you said, I'm going through this situation and I'm not stuck in this situation. But also, you chose to thrive. You chose, like when I said this whole thing was a setup, and when I woke up one morning and God was like, oh, yeah, that head wraps and high vibrations, that was a cute title, but this is a setup. And I was like, what? And literally, it was like everything started falling into place for what this was actually supposed to be. And the stories that are coming out in all of this are stories like yours, where you're a person that made the choice to thrive. You're a person that said, listen, there are so many things that could have stopped me in this moment, that could have stopped me along the journey on any moment, where you
Mm-hmm.
said, you know what? Yeah, I see what they're saying. And, I often tell people it's not true until you believe it. And that's
Yep.
It's
Yep.
not true until you believe it. So if someone had told you, and all the people did try to tell you, oh my God, Ebony, stage 4 cancer. Oh, Ebony, oh, you can't. And
Oh
if
yeah.
you decided that you wanted to believe that, then it would have been over. If you said, I'm moving to California, and people were like, Ebony, and I'm sure they were, Ebony, girl, you can't take your kids across the country. And what are you thinking? What are you doing? If you had decided that you were going to believe that, then you
Mm-hmm.
stayed in Kentucky. You would have lived the life that was prescribed for that Ebony that was living in Kentucky. Instead, you chose, I'm going to live the life of Ebony that's supposed to be in California, because that's the one that's supposed to thrive. That's the one that has
Mm-hmm.
to live. That's the one that's going to be smiling and helping other people smile. See, it's a setup. It's a set.
Great setup.
It's
Straight setup.
a great setup. So I've got a few rapid fire questions I want to ask you before we
Okay. Okay.
today. And so just whatever comes to mind, whatever your thoughts
Okay.
are, when you have a moment, when you're having one of those moments, what makes you smile?
Oh, we. Oh. Um. Travel.
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 Okay.
Travel. Travel.
All right. So I've been asking a thing on social media, and this is probably going to stick with future shows. What do you crave?
Oh my goodness. Like right now in the moment, I really want an ice cream sundae with extra hot fudge. But I'm behaving myself. I'm behaving myself
You
right
behaving
now.
yourself?
I'm really, you know,
Okay.
I'm behaving myself. I'm just being good. I'm trying to go like completely vegan. Pray for me. And so part of that is dairy, cutting out dairy. And I've done well for the most part. But sometimes, Lord, I just be looking, and then like the ice cream commercial will come on TV, Or I might go to like Uber Eats, and then that'll be the first thing to be on there is the ice. I'm like, oh man, and y'all delivered? No, 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 no.
No, 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 no,
But
no, no,
right
no,
now in
no.
the moment is ice cream.
Okay. So, what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie. Okay. Besides Scarface, because I know I mentioned
Yeah,
him.
they said Scarface.
My favorite movie. I know it word from word. Love Jones.
Oh
I love. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just watched it not too long ago.
my God. Oh
Like
my
my
God.
kids know. Like when it comes on, it's like, shh, don't say anything. They're like, you watched this 1,000 times. You
You know
have it
the
on DVD.
words. You're not gonna miss
I
anything.
know the words. And what's so crazy is because like I think I was here for like maybe a couple months, and one of my sister friends out here, when it was the 20th anniversary of Love Jones, she took me to the screening of it at the Screen Actors Guild here. And after it was over, all the cast from it came. Oh my gosh, like
You were like,
I'm talking about my smile was like just ding, 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 like all over the place. But yeah, I love that movie. I love what it stands for. Black love, black excellence, and just like the words. I'm big with like because how my first book was poetry. And that was something that's a lot of a way that a lot of times I express myself is through poetry. And so the words and the play on words and just the essence of that movie. It just
it's so
I just
good.
love it. I just love it. I just love it. So good. So good.
Okay, so who is your favorite musical artist?
Favorite musical artist. Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill.
My girl Lauren. I have to go with Lauren. Lauren then brought me out some stuff. And that Miseducation of Lauryn Hill I still love her live album. But that Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, when it was actually on CD, and I was playing CDs, I think I had it like 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Then now that I have like Apple Music and all of that, it is on there. I play it often. And like when I was pregnant with my son, that song Zion, like oh my god, X Factor, that was like the story of my life at one point. It's just like tell him makes me want to worship. Like everything. I love Lauren. I love the way she expresses herself. And then she's just like her spirit is so beautiful. And so just to listen, and then like the people that kind of like came after her, India, love her. But it starts with
Lauren. It starts with
Lauren.
So tell us, how can we connect with Eboney Thompson? Because we need to be connected to you. So what can we do?
You have to stay connected. You gotta stay connected. Okay, so if you want to connect with me personally on my Facebook, it's Eboney Thompson. I can't tell you what Facebook picture I got up there right now because I change it often. But if you see me and then you go to the picture behind and it's 4 little kids, that's me. Eboney Thompson. And then like my business page is Becoming Me with Coach Eboney. That's my business page. And I'm sure to connect with anybody right there. And then also I'm on Instagram as Becoming Eboney.
Awesome. And I do that in the bio thing here. I've got the website linked as well. Because listen, they need to go to the website, and I know all the links to all of the in the website as well. So I know you've got 11 books out. Do you have some more books coming out? What are we doing with?
I have the Hustle Journey. If you go on the website, on the very first page, you can actually see a copy of the Hustle Journey. And that is on Amazon and available on Amazon. Right now, I am currently in the midst of working on a devotional about the
Awesome.
heart, getting to the heart. So I'm currently working on that. That should be released. I don't know. It would probably be soon because like it's like urgent for me to get it out. So that's definitely coming out. But right now the hustle journey is out. I am and besides the coaching program, I do have an introductory special going on where they get a getting to know me special, a getting to know me session, and then 6 coaching sessions with me for $97. And
Yes.
that's usually like five. It's normally it's gonna range go between like $525 value, but
Yeah.
right now I'm doing it for $97. I also, if they go to my Instagram, you'll be able to see that I also am launching a T-shirt today in honor of the business. So
Awesome.
I have that whole T-shirt thing going on, and I think that's about it. I'm doing so much right now.
That's
Oh,
good.
but then also later on, in addition with the book, it's called The Hustle Journey. And it's about the power of overcoming. I've linked with some amazing women with some powerful stories to tell. And we are actually doing a 24-hour summit.
Awesome.
It's going to be a 1-day summit, and the power that is about to come with this, it is going to be April the 4th, but you got to come to the page so you can know all the details. It's coming.
Yes.
And we're
Yes.
coming to life.
Awesome. Well, I am so excited that you and I are now on each other's radar, in each other's
Yes.
of friendship now, because I keep saying, I'm like, all my new people, this has been between last year and this year have been my years to really meet new people for my circle. I'm like, I'm selfish in this because I believe that
Right.
a lot of times we miss opportunities because we miss collaborations. And
Yes.
to you before that, I want to do something where we have all mindset coaches and have a platform where we do set something else up like that. So stay tuned, because
Let me know. Let
this
me
is not
know.
the last time. But there are some other things that as I'm like, I've always got things running around in my head, and I'm like, ooh, because when I talk to people and I hear their stories, I'm like,
Right.
for
Right.
that, or they would be perfect for this, or so just know I'll be in your inbox and your email like, Ebony, hey.
I'm like, hi, girl. Hi, girl. What's
Hey
up?
girl, what you doing? So I do want to say, first of all, thank you so much for
Thank you. Thank
being
you. I'm
the
glad to be
person.
your first guest on the first episode. I feel special, honey. I
Yes,
feel so
yes. Thank you for pulling the trigger. Thank you for taking the opportunity and seizing it and saying, listen, I don't know what the rest of these people are gonna do. I don't care. But I'm jumping out there doing what I need to do. I am so
yes.
excited about you launching into the deep. So excited. So excited. Because like
Thank
you
you
said,
so
you've been
much.
doing this, but the launch solidifies how serious this is for you. The launch solidifies that you're not just gonna do this as a side hustle. You're like, no, no, no. I've got to get out there. If I'm gonna hustle, if I'm gonna grind, if I'm gonna do all that I've been doing for years, I'm now giving other people permission by giving myself permission to shine in it.
Exactly.
And so I
Exactly.
love opportunities to be a part of that. So for me, I'm like, I'm part of the journey.
Yes. 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 Because I'm definitely gonna journal about this tonight.
Yes, yes, I love it. And so I, like I said, I want to say to you, thank you so much for being a part of this. I laughed when we got close to the hour mark, and I was like, we ain't gonna make it. I was like, this has gotten so good. This has gotten so good. I really sincerely hope that everybody that watches this, as we share this around on social media, that everybody that watches this gets from this the fact that no matter what situations come up, you can still press forward. I hope that they're able to look at your situation and say, hey, here's a person that was already moving, that was already living, that was already making it happen. And life decided to put a big brick wall right in the middle of her hustle, in the middle of her move, in the middle of her doing everything, and said, guess what? I need you to change direction completely. And you're,
Mm-hmm.
wait, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And even though you took that moment, you said, well, you know what I know I need in this moment of the big brick wall in my life is to take a step out and to go, take this mini vacation, do this other thing. And so because you did that, then you got a whole new revelation. And so for me, that's very exciting that, you can share that with the other people that are viewing, and they can see that, hey, you know what, when life happens, when God throws a ball in the way, that there are other ways that you can listen a little deeper, pay attention a little bit better, watch the reactions of the people around you, and decide which reaction am I going to take in? Am I going to take in the people that said, you're not going to live? Am I going to take in the reaction of the people that say, you're making the biggest mistake of your life? Or am I going to take the
Right.
reaction of what God had shown me? God said, no, this is where you're going to go. This is how you're going to do it. And my confirmation, look at your kids. And you,
Exactly.
and then from there, you
Exactly.
were able to make a choice. You gave yourself permission and made the choice to rock on out. And so that, like, I'm just like, woo, catch some south, baby. Woo. That gives me chills. That gives me chills because there's somebody right now that has watched this broadcast that has decided, oh, I'm going to stay to the end. And they're sitting there saying, I can't make the big decision. I can't do the big thing. And they're dying right now. It may not be a death from the big C or the little C or whatever C, but it's a different C. It may not be
Yeah.
illness cancer, but it's the spiritual cancer. It's a mental cancer. It's something that is literally eating away at them and stopping them from living. They have all of the tools. They've gone to every program, they've bought everything, they've talked to everybody. And while they're looking in what I call the laptop of gold at all the files that say, do this like this, they still can't get going because somewhere along the line, they started believing not the fact that they could do it, but believing the other people that said that they couldn't. And so
Yeah.
I am so encouraged by you because you're saying, I heard both sides of it and I chose who I was going to listen to. And now here I am
Yeah.
launching something else that's going to impact the world. So, Eboney D. Thompson, girl,
Thank
I cannot
you. Thank
wait
you so much.
to follow
Thank you. Thank
even more of your journey. I can't wait. I can't wait. So we will
Thank you.
look, we'll be
Thank
connecting. We'll be connecting. Oh,
you. Yes, for sure. For sure.
so
Sure.
for those of you out there that, like I said, that have been watching, thank you so much. I always tell you guys, we talked about mirror work even in this particular episode. I always tell you to look in the mirror and smile at the person in the mirror because it gives that person permission and empowerment to go out there and smile at the rest of the world. And what it does is it makes the world a better place. And here on the Empowered Smiles channel, I always say that I believe my smile, this one and this one, see, look, they're sparkly, are designed to launch millions, but I can't do it by myself. I have to have you. So do me a favor and make today smile worthy. We'll see y'all later. Bye now.
Bye.